This video is about the decline of conservatism and Republicans in the United States and the decline of the Republican Party. And I know an answer that's going to account for why this is happening, because it happened to me. It's going to start with the fact that I lived here and I wasn't happy living here. And it was because of the way I was being treated by women. I didn't like the way I was being treated. So when I was around 38 years old, I thought, I'm going to move to another country. Or it started out as a vacation, but I moved as soon as I did that vacation. The first day I was there, I was like, I got to move here, So what I discovered was that when I was overseas, the first day, the women were treating me the opposite of in the United States. And I was like, okay, I am self-employed. You can see where this is going. And I work over the internet. You can see where this is going. And I am going to move overseas. And I did. Within the year, I was temporarily going overseas and meeting more women. And I was like, yeah, this is working out. And I was starting to talk about moving my business and opening an office and hiring employees. And what I discovered is that there are an unlimited number of white men from the United States. Actually, they're not all white. There's an unlimited number of men from the United States that live overseas. And not only that, they're all conservative and they're all Republicans. So I found this to be true in every city I've lived in overseas and in every country I've lived in overseas. In the Americas, they're going to mostly be from the United States. Occasionally, there would be Canadian. It was rare that it would be someone else. In Asia, there's a little bit more of a mix. There's a lot of Americans, a lot of people from Britain, a lot of people from Australia. But it's the same thing. They don't identify themselves as Republicans, but they moved overseas for the same reason, to get away from the women in their country. And if you go to one of these Republicans, I've asked them, I said, what do you think of American women? And they say, God, no. That's what everybody says. You never get a good answer. And so I know that they're all going over for the same reason. And they're not all the same. They all tend to be older than me. I was 38 at the time. It was rare that I would meet someone younger than me, but there were younger men than me. But they tended to be older. Actually, 45 is kind of an average age, but there's a lot of guys that are older than me, really. And almost all of them own their own business. And a large number of them are retired, so they're no longer working, which means that obviously it's easy for them. A lot of them did meet a foreign woman, get married, etc. The other thing is, when I first did this, I thought, wow, wait till the world hears about my idea. Everyone's going to want to do this. And what I discovered is that I was not the first person to discover this. This has been going on for a long time. This has been going on going back 50 years or more. American men who tend to be self-employed or business owners don't like living in the United States, and they move overseas. There's other advantages to living overseas. You've got women treat us like human beings. We don't treat them any differently, but they respect us in a way that no American woman would ever respect us. They're not constantly calling us rapists and murderers, or refusing to stand next to us, or you can smile at a woman over here and she doesn't say something insulting. And I can go up to someone in South America and say, hello, how are you? Just a random stranger, and they don't tell me, get the F out of here. So it's a completely different place. The business is good. It's cheaper to live here. For $700, I got an amazing apartment. For $700, I got not the most expensive apartment in the city, but pretty much the top of the line for 95% of the city. There were apartments that were $3,000, where you would get literally the whole floor of the building, and every apartment had a swimming pool. That was a $3,000 apartment in a building. It was crazy, crazy amazing. But I had a 3-bedroom apartment. It was actually 4-bedroom because there was a 4th room, the maid's room. But it was small. It's smaller than a person would call a bedroom. for $700. And the food is cheaper. And all the utilities are cheaper. You're going to pay a lot less. And people are friendly. And the labor is cheaper. So if you're self-employed, you can hire people. And it's not crazy liberal and crazy feminist. For example, when I hire people, you can ask them, are you married? You can't do that in the United States. And I can ask them, do you have children? And the list goes on. They don't flip out. They don't go crazy. And it's not that you can't do whatever you want. You can't walk down the street naked. So don't think that it goes that far. When I first came here, I thought, oh, there's going to be no laws. You know what I mean? It's not like that. You can't walk down the street naked. It's not going to work. However, if you are walking down the street naked, you're going to be more likely to get away with it than in the United States, because I do see naked people on the street. If they're homeless, they're not going to care. But if you're not a homeless person, people are going to not want their kids to look at it. If it's a homeless person, they might not care. So I like to say it's a better life. There's a common phrase that people say when they're here overseas, that the people overseas also know this phrase, and that is, I wish I came here 10 years ago. And when I came at the age of 38, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I wish I'd come here 10 years ago. And then I had met people that lived in South America that I had done business with, and they said, you're going to wish you had come here 10 years ago. They would say that to me. So my office shared an office with a guy who did real estate, who was an American guy. And every day I saw American men coming in. They were all older than me, walking up the stairs, going to that office to rent an apartment every day. And I was there for 2 years. And it would often be more than one guy. His business was doing pretty good. He had hundreds of apartments. He had a lot of apartments. In fact, I was renting my office from him. And the American men are friendly with each other, so it's assumed that if you are, there's the brotherhood, I guess you could call it. When I see an American guy in my apartment building or hotel or walking down the street, there's a chance that they're just going to say hello. That doesn't happen with, obviously, the foreigners, the people that the people that are nationals of the country. So we've got that. It's easy to make friends. So you're welcome amongst the other foreign men who've come here. And I guess that covers everything. So that explains, to me, you can look up the numbers on the internet as to how many expats they are. They're called expats. And you know what? There's going to be women expats. I only see them on the internet. For real, I have seen like one or two, and they're usually young, and they usually come because of drugs. There's a lot of young girls that come over here because they want to smoke pot, and they think, wow, it's legal everywhere. And now that it's becoming legal in the United States, they might not come anymore. I can't remember any time meeting a woman who was not a college student who was over here, who was from outside the country. And of the ones that were college students, I mean, we're talking about thousands of men over the years. I've probably met 2 or 3 female college students from the United States. There are backpackers. You're going to see backpackers. They're young. They tend to come from Scandinavian countries or Germany. They speak English. They're very tall and blonde, and they're always with their boyfriend, who's also very tall and blonde. And they always have old clothes on. But I don't consider them to be part of this explanation, because I'm excluding non-Americans and non-English speaking countries. So there's your answer.